This guy writes this post: is it wrong to be too friendly on a date? And I actually had this approach when I was younger. I thought that basically if I, smiled more, or if I was always in a good, happy mood, then people would like me. And, it wasn't a bad way to go, because it's like when you act happy, you actually just become happy. Um, but in regards to showing up on a date like this, I'd take everything like always being happy, or like if she even like threw a barb at me, I'd be happy, 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 happy. And it can just kind of come across as giving her the wrong vibe, like you're not totally in your masculine energy. And I found that it's good to have approach the date for the purpose of having fun, but you don't have to be in this like joyous state 100% of the time. If you smile too much, your face hurts, kind of deal. So you have to know, basically have like situational awareness on when it is appropriate to always, or to smile and laugh and joke and be playful. And also when it's like good time to really take yourself seriously or defend yourself, or take the lead. If you just have every single thing as like a mass filter on every single situation, you're going to deal with it being happy. What you'll find is it usually doesn't raise her attraction. Even though you might feel good, and it's like you personally feel good, it can come across as too much. And so I'm kind of limiting, or I'm kind of like holding back a little bit on this, because I know and I recognize how important it is to feel that happiness and have that skill, because it is a skill to get ourselves into that pattern of really having a happy and joyful life. But yes, if you overdo it, sometimes it can make you be perceived as not being strong. And that is really one of the most important, or not being masculine. And some of those things are the most important when attracting a woman. Let's get into this guy's post and see where he's coming from. My question really is, how are people supposed to act on dates? That approach might not be the best. It's kind of like just act like you are, but like in a way that you can have fun with the other person. Don't take it too seriously. And those are really the only things I'd probably give you. Because if you're intellectualizing this process too much, then you can kind of just get in your head and not act in a genuine way that's really in accordance with what the situation calls for. I've gone on 2 walking dates recently. I feel like I may be too friendly. And part of it might be that you're setting up walking dates. I'm presuming that these are in like the daytime, so sometimes these kind of situations can be perceived as friendship. And so it's like, if this is your first date option, you might consider doing something in the evening where there's opportunity to really lead to like a kiss, or lead further, or lead to some kind of like some kind of move at least you can make romantically. Or what evening dates do is they communicate a romantic dynamic, compared to, hey, is this a friendship? Is this a get to know thing? Are they trying to date me, or are they not? And that's often what you'll see in like coffee dates or walks like what you're doing, to establish a romantic connection. He says too friendly to establish a romantic connection. Yeah, so you want to be playful, and so especially playfulness is so useful when she tests you, because it's like you don't take her tests seriously, and you have the confidence to just overcome that. When we are in those empowering states, often what we'll find is that we can overcome things much easier, or studies show that I believe it was like 40% or 30% smarter, and as far as our decision making, when we are in happy or positive states. And so they have so much of a use. But you also have to almost play it like you're like play it cool, as they say, But know when to be more serious, know when to be strong, know when to be composed and calm. Um, and just don't use happiness and smiling as a default kind of thing. It can come across as ingenuine. The conversation really usually flows really well, but we end up basically acting like good friends instead of potential romantic partners. So that's probably on you. And since I'd say it has more to do with you setting up dates that are in the day that are just like walking, that can be considered as getting to know people and know each other, friend zone thing. You're not probably being decisive. You're not probably having the courage to make a move. And so you're probably not leading these dates anywhere, probably not even attempting a kiss. And probably just kind of like beating around the bush as far as like getting to know a person. You're probably talking to them on the phone constantly, trying to get to know each other, thinking that raises her attraction. It's like she just wants somebody direct, decisive, get to the point, in their masculine, yes, has a good attitude, and is easy to laugh with, but not so much so that it's ingenuine. But it really falls on your shoulders in regards to you taking the lead in leading it to a romantic thing. And so think of it, only go to places that could only be considered a date. That way you are communicating that right up front, and then she can agree or she cannot. And either way, you're going to be just fine. And if she doesn't agree, yeah, say, well, you don't agree to be in this friend zone, walk away. If you don't get it, it's a negotiation principle. State what you want. If you don't get it, walk away. Avoid chasing, avoid you being the one who initiates most of the conversation, because that can be perceived as more of a feminine quality. And then let's see. Also, you might just not be with people that have a high enough interest in you from the start. And so you have to understand that and be able to read her clues on, what she's signaling, how she's signaling her interest. When the interest is there, that's when you set a definite date. But if it's not, and you just kind of like pressure her into going on something, she might just go on it because she thinks it's a friend zone thing. She might be going on it because she doesn't want to hurt your feelings. Just be aware of that and read her body language, read her actions. Because sometimes it's like, well, she might say something that is designed not to hurt your feelings or is in an indirect way. She's saying it in an indirect way, and not bluntly telling you straight up that she's not interested. So just be aware of all these concepts, and then, once you can recognize these things, and once you structure it in a way that communicates a romantic interest, then you'll get more romantic results, especially when you can know when she is inviting you to make a move. And as a general rule of thumb, it's like on every single first date, you want to go for the goodnight kiss. Because like if she denies you, her interest level is not high enough. And so you just walk away and find somebody else. Or either that, or she's like got some structure or something that like rule book that she's following. And sometimes those are really difficult women to date as well. And so either way, it's like you just walk away. But really that's kind of the end deal. If you do have that sense of attraction and you're kind of a little bit unsure on her, or you're not really reading everything right, go for the kiss. I mean, what do you got to lose? She says no, or she pulls away, and then, well, okay, see you later. You walk away. And then what you'll also find is like when she does pull away and then you pull away and walk away and never reach out to her again, she'll start to reach out to you. Yeah, man, it's just a process. You'll learn it, but you won't if you're trying to basically learn it by yourself. Or you'll learn it in a much more slow pace, and at that pace, oftentimes it'll take you many, maybe even decades to learn yourself, instead of just learning from other people's experience, applying that, using the principles in your own life to replicate their results. And you can do that in, look to do it in a couple of years, so you can really so this content can be a part of you. And so just like constantly work on yourself. Just like anything, it takes time. Some of the strategies you can implement and they'll get immediate results. But really, if you want to solidify this and just have the reactions just naturally in you, you have to do the work.